Welcome back. The agriculture sector in Nigeria is undoubtedly the highest employer of labor, employing about 70% of the Nigerian labor force. The Nigerian agricultural sector has also suffered low output, which has led to massive importation of food items to feed the ever-increasing populace. One major problem said to be plaguing the sector in Nigeria is lack of adequate research. Let's look at agricultural research and the role of IITA in agri-productivity in Nigeria. I'm being joined by the Director, Systems and Site Integration at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, Dr. Kwesi Atakra. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Atakra, from Ghana, I suppose.
Yes, you're right.
Right. Okay. How important is research to agricultural development?
Our research is very important. It's really the critical element that will bring about the improvement. And we should also know that the situations we are in are dynamic, especially when you take the issue of climate change. You know, what used to work 10 years ago may not work 10 years from now. So you've got to get research into place to make sure that we are preparing against those sort of changes, but also to look at how we can improve the material that we are currently using. You know, we have a lot of commodities that we are working on, but really, if you look at the capacity for those commodities in terms of their productivity, and you look at what is being obtained currently from farmers' fields, we are way below what it should be. So research aims to bridge that productivity gap, the yield gap, you know, for instance, you know, and looking at not just the genetic material, but also the management, you know, what is really needed, what is the critical elements that we need to put in place to make sure that we maximize productivity. And also we have the problems of pests and diseases, which are constantly battling against us. And we have to figure out ways of dealing with all this. And research is a key element to do that. But finally, when we talk about research, it's not only research on the biological and the biotechnical things. We also have research in policy, research in the socio-economic, trying to really understand what the farmers and what the communities really go through, what are their key elements, and how we can help to bring all these things out so that research will help to increase overall livelihoods of the people.
All right. What is your assessment of agriculture research here in Nigeria?
I think a lot of effort has been made and a lot of progress has been made. Nigeria has set up a number of research institutions handling different commodities across the country. And these definitely have helped. We could always do better. We could always do better in terms of having funding that enables these research institutions to really function most appropriately. There are some scenarios where you get into places and you find good researchers, but the wherewithal for doing the critical research is sometimes, you know, questioned. So with a bit more support, I believe the research institutions will generate a lot more. One thing that has been working very well is partnerships. You know, nobody really solves all the issues within one institution. If you are a research institution and you don't have the capacity to engage with other institutions, you are very much reduced. So partnerships with national institutions, partnerships with international institutions like IITA and so many other, you know, institutions that are there, helps to advance the cause of, you know, the productivity that we get from the research institutions.
All right. Talking about IITA, IITA is 50 years now in Nigeria. What has it been like? How have you been able to go around the funding, you know, the funding issues? You did mention funding as one of the challenges.
Yeah. I think IIT has come a long way. You know, the institution was established in 1967, and I must really thank Nigeria really for hosting the organization. At that time, the President Gowon was the one who actually signed the agreement for setting up the institution. And there has been tremendous support. Of course, it's always been ups and downs when it comes to funding. But we are at a level now where we feel really proud that we have been able to attract funding from a whole range of partners and investors who, because of the evidence of what the institution has been able to generate, have put in money to enable the organization to go ahead. And so we're not only focusing on the traditional donors that we used to have in the past, we're constantly looking for new, innovative funding mechanisms. And that has been most, essential for us in making, do with the money that we get. We are part of the CGIAR, so we do benefit from that, being part of that family. We receive some funding directly through the CGIAR mechanism. But increasingly, we're putting a lot of effort into looking at our own arrangements for bilateral funding, which has really enabled us to bridge the gap. And it has really catapulted us to levels that we've never experienced. So we feel it is good if you have a good innovation on the table and you are able to show that you are helping to bring about productivity and efficiency, and you are helping countries to achieve what countries themselves have programmed to achieve, the support will come. It's not money alone which does it. All these innovation ideas must start coming in, and then more support keeps coming in.
And what sort of partnership does IITA have with African Development Bank?
That's one of our huge ones for now. We are very grateful that Nigeria produced a Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Akin Adesina, who was the minister when he launched what was then known as the Agricultural Transformation Agenda, ATA, in the previous government. Now, with this new government coming in, the new government has also launched what is called the Green Alternative, or the Agricultural Production Program.